Hi, I'm Mark and I'm passionate about English, and today I'm with Martin, who's a really great guy. He works for a school in Bournemouth, a language school, where I've worked a few times. And so, hi Martin.
Hello Mark.
You're not just a teacher, I believe.
No, I'm passionate about music as well. I do a lot of music in the evenings.
But sticking with teaching, you're some sort of coordinator, aren't you?
Yeah, academic coordinator at Beat Language Centre, yeah. But I do a lot of teaching as well.
Ah, you do, okay. And how long have you been teaching English?
Since '99, so 14 years now.
Okay. And have you taught abroad at all?
No, I haven't taught abroad. I have worked abroad, but that was before I was a teacher.
Okay.
That was as a musician in Germany. We worked there quite a few times actually. But since I started teaching, that's when I had the kids and got the mortgage and settled down in Bournemouth. It's the opposite way to a lot of teachers, but that's how I did it.
Okay. So you've been a teacher quite a long time. You still enjoy it, I hope?
I love it, yeah.
Okay. Anything? What's the best thing and the bad thing about teaching English? The best thing and the worst thing, I should say.
Well, the best thing is quite easy, and that's helping new people all the time. And when you think about the thousands of people that you've met, and generally students are really nice everywhere you go, people are positive, no one gets worse at English, and it's good fun to meet all these different people all the time and hopefully help them a little bit every day.
Okay.
The worst thing is a more difficult question, actually. The worst thing about teaching English, I suppose it can be slightly repetitive, if you've got another present perfect lesson and you've done it away and you're working with different people and then you're working with different people and you're working with different people. But I guess it's up to you as an individual teacher to help it develop, keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Okay, but your passion, so my website is called Passionate About English, but you're passionate about
English and music.
What do you play?
Guitar mostly.
Okay, and when did you start playing the guitar?
I really don't know. All I remember is being tiny and wanting to play a guitar, and then I used to have a toy guitar which I loved. I don't think I could play it, and eventually a friend of my dad's gave us a guitar. My brother tried it, put it down, my sister tried it and put it down, and it ended up with me. And I was lucky because at the time punk music was really popular. And it was easy to play, so with a bit of imagination, if you're young enough, it's quite easy. But I never did lessons or anything like that. I just
never.
No. There was a friend of my brother's showed me how to tune it, and you pick things up mainly from older guys, but no formal lessons.
Well, I've seen you play a few times, and you look really professional to me.
Thank you very much.
But does that mean you couldn't play jazz guitar, for example, or
very difficult? That's a very specialist thing.
Or if I asked you to explain chord theory or something like that?
Tricky, but I would do my best. I mean, there's probably an underlying knowledge.
Yeah, okay.
A bit like we speak English, but people speak English without knowing the terminology of all the grammar.
Yeah,
it's very much like that.
Okay, and you're in one band or?
No, 3 different bands at the moment. One's kind of a duo, occasionally a trio. We go out with the acoustic guitars and play covers, everything from the Beatles up to now, weddings, countryside pubs and stuff like that. Another band which I've recently joined, they're called the Syghtseers. It's kind of 60s flavoured pop rock, I guess, a bit like the Kinks, I guess.
Yeah.
And I joined them by accident, but I like them. But my main band, I suppose, is called the Seventynine, and we wear cheap suits, plastic sunglasses, and play music from 1979, basically.
That's the one I've seen, is it?
That's right, yeah.
So hit me with your rhythm stick.
That kind of thing. Not punk music, but just after the punk revolution, there were some interesting songs going about. People still remember them. Yeah,
and it was a great era. So I'll put a couple of your... you're on YouTube, I guess, so I'll put some clips.
Here and there. We just finished an album, actually, this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so who knows, you might become famous in Peru and Chile.
I'm not so
because
interested in that anymore, but it would be nice, yeah. I wouldn't say no.
Okay, Martin. So that's brilliant. I'm going to ask you some idioms to do with music, and let's see what you can do. Well, in a way, this is not exactly an idiom, but it's an expression. A jam session.
Right. Well, a jam session is it's an informal get-together where you play through an idea. Typically, you play through a riff and develop it in your own way. A jam session would be not the same as a band rehearsal. Maybe the bass player's got an idea and the drummer kicks in and you kind of develop in this direction and this direction, and sometimes a song comes out of it. Sometimes it's fun in its own right.
So maybe Paul McCartney sort of had a riff, a doon 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 doon
Doon, doon, doon. Very, very, very probable. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about do you ever blow your own trumpet?
I hope I don't too much, because that means show off, be conceited, boast or brag.
So you never say what a fantastic guitarist you are?
No, because I don't consider myself one.
Okay.
I think I'm intuitive, but I would never call myself a fantastic guitarist.
Okay.
It's a good idiom, though.
Yeah, it is. And what if you said after this interview, I am a fantastic guitarist? I said, oh, you've changed your tune.
Yeah, that's an opinion U-turn, I would say. You've changed your tune.
Yeah. So you say one thing and then you say another, or you believe one thing.
Yeah, we all know
believe
people that
another.
change their minds a lot.
How about you do something that your wife doesn't like, and then you have to face the music?
Well, that's, confront the consequences, I suppose. Yeah. I don't know where it comes from.
No. Have you had to face the music recently?
If you, I can't particularly think of an example, but if you make a mistake at work,
Yeah.
and then your boss calls you in,
Yeah.
beckons you in to face the music.
Yeah. It's deal with the consequences.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's been in a few lessons already.
Good.
Have you ever bought a guitar for a song?
Yes, I have. I've bought bargains, cheap guitars. Cheap but worthwhile guitars.
Okay, so for a song means very cheap. isn't
Very,
it?
very cheap, yeah.
Does your boss ever make a song and dance about things?
I wouldn't say so, but I certainly know some people that make a song and dance, overreact.
Yeah, or make a fuss?
Make a fuss, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of musicians are quite laid back and quite kind of cool, but make a song and dance, I suppose, is the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah, people who are stressed and maybe angry.
Yeah.
They worry about little things. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is one I explained recently, but it's good to remind people. If I don't know, let's say when I came round and I didn't really have a plan, I said let's play it by ear.
I think playing it by ear means not reading music, not reading the sheet music, improvising, I suppose. Yeah?
Okay, that's the literal meaning, but the idiomatic meaning?
Yeah, see where things take you. No plan.
Yeah, no plan.
Spontaneous.
See what happens.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. I guess it comes from trumpets and saxophones and something. Pull out all the stops. So if you're going to a gig and you really want to impress the place,
Yeah.
and you pull out all the stops.
Yeah, full on, 100%. You don't want any spare energy at the end of the night.
Okay, so you really go for it.
Really go for it. Pull out all the stops.
Okay, and here's a kind of idiom to explain and a joke. Does the name Pavlov ring a bell?
Yeah. He was the behaviourist, is that right?
That's right, Russian.
Yeah, that's right. He rang a bell, and yeah. If someone rings a bell, it means, I can't place why he's famous, but I've heard the name before.
Yeah. Or if I say, it could be a name, or I could say the past. Now the past perfect, that rings a bell.
Yeah, I know. I've heard of it.
Or the second conditional.
Yeah. Yeah, that would ring a bell. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So just before we finish, as you've been teaching for 14 years, is what I'm going to have in every lesson in the courses beginning in September are some tips from different teachers. So do you have any great tip or a few tips about learning English? Not just people coming to Britain, but people all around the world.
Good question. Well, actually, I think learning a language is a lot like playing music.
Uh-huh.
I think it's, without getting too heavy, I think it's an essential part of human culture, really, the way we are. Every culture's had music, every culture has always had spoken language. So what we're doing is sharing our personality, and that means not being frightened of your mistakes, not being worried about the embarrassment. Embarrassing things will happen, but not very often. So go for it, say what you want to say, not just what you can say, and treat language like music, and listen to a lot of music in English and try to understand the lyrics.
Okay.
And if you're not sure, then ask somebody, you know?
Yeah. So this is something I've actually been doing recently, looking at the lyrics, and there's some fantastic websites that look at the meaning of songs.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you know what Billie Jean is about?
Apart from the literal surface meaning, not really.
Okay, Billie Jean was a woman who claimed Michael Jackson was the father of her son, so she was a stalker.
Okay.
But there's a lot more to the song than that as well, and it's really, really interesting.
Hmm.
Okay.
But also for pronunciation purposes, you know, sentence stress, rhyming, vowel sounds.
And it's memorable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think Martin's done a fantastic job. I hope I can invite him into another lesson.
Hope
Martin,
so too.
thank you very much.
Cheers, Mark. Thanks a lot.
There we go. Cheers again is thank you, not just when you chin chin.
Cheers.